All right, guys, there are crypto signals flashing. Alt season, time to print the 10, 50, 100x returns. And I'm fresh. Back, well, I'm actually not fresh, I'm a bit jet lagged, but back from Dubai where I went to Token 2049 and met probably 80% of the influencers that we follow on this channel. It was really cool to connect with all these people, but I got in-person alpha and knowledge. And honestly, the vibes were just so high at this conference. It felt like this market is 2021 before everything did those 10, 20, 50 X's. And so I want to simplify as much as possible how to take advantage of them this time around. I'm going to explain the simple thesis on how to print, and then I'm going to give you 3 tokens at the end of this video. So let's jump straight in. Crypto bubbles. You can see over the last month, things are green. And I think it's actually creeping up on people. We're seeming to be back in a bull market. If you have a look at these big gainers over the last month, you can see Virtuals Protocol up 200%, Pengu up 200%, Farcoin up 100%, BSV up 40%, Sui up 81%. It doesn't feel like we're bullish because the market sort of moves and people lag to find out about it. Because how it normally happens, and I see this both when the market turns at the bottom and turns at the top, is that people are slow to catch on. When the market peaked at its all-time highs literally about 3 months ago, for a month after that, our YouTube channel was still getting tons and tons of views. And now our views are down, probably nothing to do with the quality difference. I'm pretty sure the quality is the same, but the views are a lot lower, and even engagement in our inner circle is a lot lower, even though the market's starting to turn. And there seems to be like a 1 month lagging indicator. And you can see this last month, there was a lot of money to be made. And why is this? Well, because Bitcoin is now back at $97,000. Had a nice run up this morning for a few reasons. One of them from 94 up to 97. One of the big ones is China and US shaking some hands and agreeing that we are going to be a prosperous earth. But in reality, that's probably not what is driving the heart of this market. You can see Bitcoin for freedom set. The Bitcoin hash rate is skyrocketing. The M2 money supply is soaring. More on that in a sec. New Hampshire just signed a Bitcoin bill. Bitcoin, which means that they are going to have a strategic reserve for New Hampshire, and there's a lot of states apparently going to be following. Bitcoin on exchanges fell by 90,000 coins in the last month, which is the supply shock. ETFs are now buying 5,000 Bitcoin per day. Strategy and 21, the new Bitcoin-backed company that are going to absolutely be printing their own money, and they're a public company that's going to be issuing debt and just snatching up hundreds of thousands of Bitcoins, are competing for the most BTC. Everything is set for the bull run. But if you've been following this channel, we talk about something that's more important. Getting this from Rail Pal, getting it from Peter from House of Crypto, and getting it from Colin Talks Crypto, the thesis, and it's holding up to be very true, it's almost lined up exactly to the day, is that the global M2 money supply, the amount of money that countries print around the world, offset by about 86 days, by about 12 weeks, will line up almost exactly to the price of Bitcoin. You can see over the last 30 days, it's got a 90% correlation. Over the last 1.5 years, it's got a 93% correlation. And you can see we're back down here talking about how it's going to turn around because money has been printed all the way up to $190,000 per Bitcoin. And guess what has happened over the last couple of weeks? Bitcoin has bounced exactly at the bottom and gone up. We've got full videos if you want to know the reason and the thesis behind why this happened. And therefore, because a lot of liquidity has flown into Bitcoin and Bitcoin has been leading the way, we are in Bitcoin season. You can see this is the altcoin season index where you got Bitcoin down the bottom, which is where Bitcoin really improves its market share. And then as you can see, the pattern goes, it flows from Bitcoin season to alts, to Bitcoin to alts, to Bitcoin to alts. And this was the last real money maker, like the monumental sort of wealth was created with all the NFT craze in this alt season here, because Bitcoin's cool, but I mean, you can get a 2x return if Bitcoin goes from $100,000 to $200,000. That's a massive move for just a 2x. But when it's alt season, that's when you can really hunt out those minimum 10x returns on your money. And you can see it's not alt season. But it's not alt season, but there are altcoins and meme coins and AI coins, which we're going to be talking about in this video, that are starting to move and shake. And this is Gork, which even Elon Musk got behind, not specifically, but he changed his profile photo on Twitter, which broke didn't quite, but it almost broke $100 million market cap. And guys, if you go back 4 weeks, this market was dead. Like a $2 million runner was a crazy runner. Now we're getting bigger and bigger runners for the ones that are starting to take off. So there's money to be made. And if you know, Bitcoin leads the dance with a lower return. This is the crypto whip we talk about in every single video. And then it flows down. The energy flows down the whip into the more volatile tokens, the one that will drop 95% when Bitcoin drops 30%, but then they'll go up 10x when Bitcoin goes up a 1.5x. And Alex Becker says, a lot of people getting triggered as we go up by his alt season post. He keeps just saying it's alt season, it's alt season, it's alt season. They are going to love my buying private jets with alt profit posts in a few months. Literally, he says we are 200 days, 150 days. Not before it starts, before it ends. And we'll be taking profits, as Carl Chassis says, who I also met at Token 2049, really awesome guy. At least you know how to take profits. And what sort of profits? Private jet level profits for someone who's got as much money in it as Alex Becker. Now, where do we look for these profits? Because to be fair, you could put money almost anywhere in about 80% of these tokens, and you'll probably make money. They're going to go up. However, you need specific tokens and specific niches to hit those 10, 50, 100 X's. So you can see if you go to CoinMarketCap, you can see across the top, they put the biggest and the hottest narratives, the ones that already exist. You can see Binance Alpha, memes, Solana, BNB, USA tokens, RWA tokens, AI tokens. But to be fair, there's only really a handful of token niches that are actually going to be paying off, because Solana tokens, yeah, Solana could have a narrative, but that's not really a niche. That's just a blockchain that tokens are built on. You've got memes, you've got AI, you've got real world assets, you've got gaming, and then you've got DeFi. And AI agents, I'd even put in AI. And so in this video, we're going to narrow it down to one of these categories, which is AI. Why AI? Because it's the only narrative that is new this cycle. Every other narrative was here in the 2021 bull run. Why really AI? Is because if we sort by month on crypto bubbles, and which will give us the highest gainers in the last month, Virtuals is an AI token. We'll talk about that more in a second. You've got Taot, the top AI token. You've got Filecoin, which is created by an AI. You've got Fetch in the AI niche. And so you can see that AI tokens are already performing. And if you don't know how this channel works, we look at the top influencers and the best traders, people with the best track records, to see what their next moves are, because either they can read the market better than anyone else, or if you're a top influencer, someone like John, someone like Alex Becker, you can actually create and influence the market yourself. You can make the market pump. And Crypto God John, one of the people who we track who has the best track record, says the AI supercycle hasn't even started yet. People forget we're still in the early stages of artificial intelligence's growth. Trillions, guys, trillions are going to pour into AI in crypto over the next few years. Ilio Trades, another one of the top performers who's probably made maybe even 9 figures in crypto by this point, says right now the AI cycle is confined to a very specific niche. It will soon spread to every crypto narrative, AI DeFi, AI gaming, etc. AI, just like crypto, will be strapped to everything we touch. Lock in, this is the super cycle. And Alex Becker, who says, as someone who's made all his money and in software and tech, AI agents are the biggest opportunity in decades. AI is completely underhyped right now. I'm all in. That said, AI crypto is so undervalued, it's disgusting. It will be the most explosive vertical here very soon. And if you have a look at the date, this was April 17th when a lot of these prices are actually higher than they are now, because we've had a big pullback in the AI niche. It's not going to be a buzzword here soon. It will be in demand in the same way we demand electricity. Go absolutely all in, which, I mean, this is a very strong recommendation. Go absolutely all in, he says to his followers. And you can see he's not wrong. I mean, if we go back to April 17th on this chart, this is April 10th, let's see where he called this, almost perfectly here, down at 24 cents. This is the Virtuals protocol, which is one of the top dogs in the space, currently at $1 billion market cap. But you can see it absolutely fell off. If we switch this to market cap, it went from a 4.5 billion market cap all the way down to 400 mil, lost 90% of its value. Remember the crypto whip. This is further down the crypto whip, so it's going to be more volatile. But the theory is there's more upside as we go bullish. And you can see this happened going from 189 mil market cap back up to the 1.12 billion, which is almost a 6x from Alex Becker's tweet. And sticking with Alex Becker, who's hit some really big calls recently, he says, here is what happens next. The AI wave goes parabolic and a top AI coin, probably Taot, does an insane run into the top 15 tokens of all time, which means that becomes the blue chip, almost like the Bitcoin of the AI niche that everything else will follow. Every AI coin under it follows with crazy 10 to 20x runs. These are the type of gains that you don't see investing in the big orange Bitcoin. Mids like Destra, which is Dsync, we'll talk about in a sec, 10 to 15x, and then the low caps, the good low caps, should we say, not just any low caps, or 20 to 30x. We then buy the moon. It is written. Now, having a look at Dsync, because this is one of the bigger caps, or at least it was the bigger cap. If we look at the market cap here, crossing that $500 million level, they got a lot of big influencers on board and really have one of the top narratives in the AI niche. You can see they currently pulled all the way back to 123 million. So a nice 80% off the top there, this pullback. And unlike Virtuals, which has had this recent pump up, it hasn't yet seen its pump, sitting at $123 million when it was at 500 mil. When it was at 500 mil, everyone was screaming that this is a multi-billion-dollar coin, which people like Becker, people like John, people like Crypto Keto and Crypto Zach LA, who I met some of those wealth group boys out at Token 2049, and they were really awesome, genuine, hardworking, cool people who I'm looking forward to bringing you more alpha from. They are hyper bullish on something like Dsync, as is Alex Becker, which is yet to have that run. And then you have something that has also had a really crazy pullback here from 44 cents all the way down to 2 cents, really down the end of that crypto whip. And that is Tars AI, who is our longest standing sponsor of this channel and this video. You can see, similar to Virtual's protocol, Tars has pulled back up. It went from the bottom of 1.2 cents all the way up to 12 cents, so a nice 10x there. And that's because they have a lot of really good partnerships with some very big dogs, but they don't want us talking about that. They want us talking more about the fundamentals of their product, because they have a big team and they are getting themselves out there marketing wise. They say Tai is now live on KuCoin, which is one of the top tier 1 centralized exchanges. They say one of the world's largest crypto exchanges, both in terms of volume and credibility. They have exposure to over 40 million plus users across 200 countries, which when you realize if the AI narrative takes off and people are wanting to buy, you know, the mainstream, the normies, the people who we're going to take all the money from when they come in extremely late, they're going to only have access to these AI tokens through centralized exchange. And not all tokens are going to be listed on centralized exchanges. They're also shown that they're committed because they're doing more and more buybacks, buying back their own token with the profit that their company is making, a $15 million TAI token buyback. And then they have some really strong partners. They are actually partnered with the Solana Foundation. They raised funding from them, partnered with NVIDIA, partnered with Bybit, partnered with Gate.io, and then they have an affiliation with Amazon as well, and an affiliation with Google. And if you go and have a look at their website, you can see that they have a product that's actually working on the Solana phone, building in the AI niche on top of the Solana blockchain, of which Solana, I believe, will be one of the top performing assets in this super cycle. In fact, Archie, which is our crypto wallet, we've built on the Solana blockchain because we are betting that Solana will be massive. And on that, if you don't have Archie installed, you can actually buy Tars and any other Solana token on Archie really simply. I'll actually leave the Tars Archie link because this wallet were built to make it as easy as possible for you to buy and sell crypto. And so in the description of this video, you'll see the Tars link. If you click on that, you can literally buy Tars in, I believe, 2 clicks. So that's going to pull up your Telegram wallet. Let me just pull it over here, which is your Archie bot where the money is stored. So 1 click will open the Telegram bot, and another click will literally go and buy 2 Solana worth of Tars once your wallet, of course, is set up. And of course, it's completely free to set up your wallet. We've made it so easy to buy Solana tokens that it's a joke. So I'm excited to keep bringing you some awesome updates to your Archie wallet. Make sure you go and grab one if you don't already. Now, the last token that is in the AI niche and has a big influencer behind it. And I want to talk a little bit about this token because it's an interesting sort of vibe. And you'll have to make your own decision on how you want to play it. But this is Alex Becker, the biggest crypto influencer, especially when the market's hot, known to move market caps hundreds of millions of dollars, literally a 15x, a 20x overnight if you can get in before everybody else. And recently, even though the market wasn't hot, this is in the bear market, the flat market, the downwards 90%, the tail end of that 90% that we just had to ride out. Alex Becker on the 23rd of April says, best little brother, higher multiple trade further down the crypto whip to Tao is Tao bot, FYI. He didn't leave a link, he didn't leave a ticker symbol. It was a really smooth, organic style integration. And if you come back to Taobot and you zoom out for that month, you can see exactly where Alex Becker talked about it, which is this sharp incline right here from 20 cents all the way up to 35 cents in a terrible market sentiment. That's because it has a much smaller market cap. Now, what I'll say on something like Taobot is I'm learning more and more how these integrations work, how these OTC deals work with these influencers and how they pick their tokens. Now, Alex Becker is obviously, if you didn't know this might be mind-blowing, but I think it's obvious. He was sponsored to put out that tweet about Taot, which is not a bad thing because a lot of people made a lot of money. Obviously, a lot of people are going to lose a lot of money. And depending on which way the market goes, this could go back to all-time highs and keep climbing, or it could go to zero. We don't actually know, but we trade narratives. And if you think that Taot is owed more promotions by Alex Becker, or you think that it's going to be one of his core recommendations and long-term affiliate partnerships, which in our inner circle, we can basically tell by how much allocation they get of that token, or if they just get a one-time payment, if they're going to promote it once, or they're going to be a long-term advisor and promoter of the actual token. But the third token for this video is Taot, just because it has a much smaller market cap and you know that someone like Alex Becker is behind him. You have to decide if you think that this is going to be a long-term promotion for him or just a one and done. Because Alex Becker does have a lot of tokens that he's affiliated with. And although most of them will pump, you want to realize what are his core 5 and get into those because they're the ones he wants to pump the hardest. Thanks so much for watching. Lots of cool content to come. I'll see you in the next video.